So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Kayak gets my flight, hotel, and rental car right, so I can tune out travel advice that's just plain wrong.
Bro, Skycoin. Way better than points.
Never fly during a Scorpio full moon.
Just tell the manager you'll sue. Instant room upgrade.
Stop taking bad travel advice. Start comparing hundreds of sites with Kayak and get your trip right.
Bad advice? You talking to me?
Kayak. Got that right.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie film to studio films, to short films, to high-end feature films, massive TV, documentaries, commercials, and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to F it up, in our very, very humble opinion. I am Giles' oldest son, and I'm delighted to welcome on the show today the incredible filmmaking talent that is Neil Marshall and the tour de force that is Liz Farahadi. Neil and Liz join us to talk about short filmmaking. We have had Neil Marshall on the podcast before talking about his career as a feature film director, so do go seek that out. I'll try and put it in the show notes. It's amazing. It's amazing. However, today's episode is a short film masterclass, a short film special, which not only delves into how to make a short film and how they made their amazing short film keep young and beautiful, but also film festivals, how you get into film festivals, why you get selected and why you do not. This is incredible. This is so much fun and a deep dive into not only making their short film, but short films in general and why you got to go out there and make yours and make it happen. Because that's a segue. That is a calling card for you to go on to make TV, to make feature films, or to make your next short. So, first of all, some credits to Neil Marshall in case you don't know who he is. For me, he embodies independent filmmaking and is one of those filmmakers we all look up to. I certainly do anyway. He burst onto the scene and kind of punched us all in the face with the cult werewolf classic Dog Soldiers. It redefined creature features. It was gritty. It's just brilliant ensemble as well. Then he plunged us into this truly claustrophobic terror with The Descent, which has just celebrated its 20th anniversary. There is a book coming out on The Descent. If it's not out now, it'll be out very soon. I'm very excited for that. I loved the last one on Dog Soldiers as well, so I'm looking forward to the next one. That film won huge acclaim and sort of cemented Neil Marshall's status as a master of modern horror. He then unleashed his post-apocalyptic action mayhem, Doomsday, and then the brutal historical epic Centurion. More recently, he directed the period horror The Reckoning and the creature feature The Lair. But it's not just features that he does. He's brought that distinctive cinematic vision to some of the biggest TV shows out there, directing two of the most epic battle episodes in Game of Thrones, Blackwater and The Watchers on the Wall, which earned him an Emmy nomination. He's also helmed episodes of Black Sails, Constantine, Hannibal, Westworld, and Lost in Space. He's a fantastic director and a great guy as well. And as mentioned, also joining him is Liz Farahadi. She is an accomplished actress. She embodies the spirit of independent filmmaking. Some of her acting roles include Losing Grace, where she also produced, and Wild Bones. She's done many theatre productions and commercials, and she's had roles in EastEnders and Coronation Street, as well as 2,000 Acres of Sky, Miss Marple, and Doctor Who. But the great thing here is beyond her captivating performances, she is a passionate advocate for filmmakers. She really goes out on a limb and helps them, especially those from marginalised backgrounds. And this drive led her to create the Soho London Independent Film Festival, or SohoLIFF. It is a fantastic platform. It creates opportunities, celebrates films with social, environmental impacts and issues. And now she has produced her third short, which she also stars in, which is called Keep Young and Beautiful, as I mentioned earlier, which delves into the darker world of beauty standards with a powerful and humorous edge. The film stars Simone Labib, Kate McGowan, Eva Pope and Bianca Sowerberry. It was shot, lensed by Tom Laxton and edited by Eric Moore. So let's dive in to this week's episode of the Filmmakers Podcast with me, Giles Alderson, and our special guests today, Liz Farahadi and Neil Marshall. Enjoy. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Good to see you again. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Hello, Liz. How are you?
Hello.
How
you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good.
Okay. Sorry for my mix-up.
It's all right. It's all right. Could have been Dom's mix-up. Let's blame Dom.
Blame Dom, yeah.
Blame Dom. He's not here.
Yeah.
It's his fault. Excellent.
Are you away still?
Yeah, I'm in Bulgaria, the home of Hellboy, in Ljubljana in Bulgaria at the moment. I'm in the studios there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How is things over there?
It's still the same, still excellent, still wonderful. I love it. Yeah, I'm having a good time here at the moment. I've just come back from the mountains. I don't know if you had a chance to go when you were here, Neil, but...
Sadly not.
Oh, it's beautiful. Fresh air on my face. I needed it, and it was just very beautiful. So, very nice.
Is it warm over there at the moment?
It's boiling, yeah.
No. I remember it being hot.
It's very hot. It's very hot. But we love it. We love it. Good. So thank you for joining us, Liz Farahadi and Neil Marshall. Welcome to the Filmmakers Podcast.
Thanks for having us.
A real pleasure. So why don't we dive straight into Keep Young and Beautiful, and just because for me, it was a really great short. It was a really great example of how you can go out there and make a brilliant short. And I'd love to know what your thought processes were behind it, what it was that made you want to do this in the first place. But first of all, before we get there, how did you two meet? What's the connection here?
We met, a few years ago now at
It will be now, yeah.
one of Neil's premieres, and
Nice.
yeah. So we like got chatting there, and just kind of over time got to know each other. Neil is a judge at the Soho London Independent Film Festival as well.
Mm-hmm.
So so we've been involved on that, and of course there was nobody else I would rather have had direct this, and no one else that could have done what he did with what was there. So
She flatters me.
Yeah. You deserve it.
No, I mean, that was it. So we met at the we had a screening for my movie The Lair a few years back, and and it was kind of the after party there that me and Liz got chatting, and then all of a sudden I was on the judges panel and attending festivals, and suddenly we're making films together.
I love that, Liz. I love the fact that you're like, right, this is opportunity. I'm going to get Neil on the judging panel. Why not? Right? Perfect.
who is better to have? I mean, it's just like so brilliant. It's, and it's like if I put my film into a festival, I would love to have Neil being the person judging it. It's like, yeah. So
Totally
I was very honoured to be asked. That's the thing. And because of that, it sort of exposed me to a lot of short films over the past couple of years, and watching all the films for the festival. And I suppose we both got sort of like pangs of like, should we ever go? So that's kind of how it sort of came about.
Is that kind of how it came by? That's really great. I don't
like. Obviously, the point being is that we can't enter it into the festival, and I can't judge it in the festival. So
it would be a bit unfair.
Oh my God, there are some festivals that have done that. Though.
Is there?
No, because people have said to me, "Oh, you're putting it in the SohoLIFF," and I'm like, "No, of course not. Like that would be ridiculous."
That would be odd.
And I've heard some stories people have said where they've gone to festivals and the people running the festival put their film in and it's won. You're just like...
Yeah, that's even more odd.
Yeah, that says, and everyone else has paid money for their films to get in there. Yeah, that's really harsh, isn't it? Yeah.
There's a shame there.
I actually do remember going to a festival, I won't name it, but years and years ago. And yeah, that kind of thing happened. It was, the filmmakers who were doing it, they put their own films in. I don't know if they won, but I do remember that. And in some way, you kind of admire the tenacity? No, the panache? No, the gore, shall we say, to do that. But the other side of it is, no, that's totally wrong. And so I love that you're not doing that, basically, putting it out there. What, Neil, you mentioned there that obviously seeing lots of short films over your time, and then recently you have made quite a few shorts as well, and obviously in your time. But what is it that because so many filmmakers out there, especially ones who listen to this podcast, have either made shorts, about to make a short, about to make the first feature, or have made features. But that short thing, people find it very difficult to write, produce, make a really good short. It's kind of really tricky. It's in that balance with trying to get emotion across, character and all that in a very short space of time. What have you learnt by watching them? And then we'll come to you, Liz, afterwards. From that experience, what are the ones that stood out? Why do you think that they were good? What was it that worked for you as a director watching them?
Well, it's not just it's not just with the SohoLIFF Festival. I mean, for several years I've been on judging panels and judging shorts and stuff like that. So I've seen a lot over the years, and I guess, I mean, obviously that it's a format that I did years ago, but haven't touched for a long time since. Mm-hmm. We all started out doing some shorts somewhere.
Yes,
and they are a pain in the ass to get funding for because. There's a difficult, like, what do you do with them other than put them at festivals? But in terms of actually making money back off them, that's really problematic. I know that at the moment there are things like Disney Plus have shorts on and Netflix have shorts on and stuff like that. And airlines maybe should take shorts, but I have no clue how to access that. I don't know how you get your short on Disney Plus and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like an easy route. And that might be a possibility of making some money back. But beyond that, it's the festival circuit and you're doing it to kind of get noticed, I suppose, early on in your career. At my stage, it's not about that so much. It was just, it's about challenging yourself and keeping a hand in. You don't get to practice what we do. You don't get to practice being a director. You sit around for months or years and suddenly you have to walk on set and do it and be good at it. Without, you don't get to warm up.
It's true. It's so true. As actors get to do that all the time, or DPs or crew members, they're often on set all the time, and yet directors aren't, and people forget that. Yeah.
So that's it's a scary concept, and so just keeping a hand in every once in a while, and doing some shorts, and although I've been involved in helping other filmmakers get shorts made recently, I haven't actually directed one myself until this one came along. I've just written one recently, which again was a challenge. Somebody challenged me to write a short. And I was like, oh, God.
Do I have to?
Do that? But it was good. I embraced the challenge. It's just want to keep a hand in with that as well and try a new format. So, in the midst of like helping other people make shorts, then, Liz comes up to me and was like, I'm going to do this short. And would you be like an EP on it? I was like, would you edit it? Not sure. Would you direct it? Yeah, okay.
Liz, I love that. You've just kept knocking.
That's what I actually wanted, was the directing,
you just chipped him away until he went, that's what I really want.
Pulled it off.
Wore me down.
Yeah. No one could have pulled it off, though, the way you did.
You wore me down in a matter of minutes, though, because it quickly went to that conversation. It didn't take days. It took minutes. But it was the fact of, like, I hadn't been on set in 2 years, and I was like, I want to get on set this year and direct something. And this, like, presented such a unique challenge for me in terms of, like, an area that, and story-wise and concept-wise, I was like, this is not what I normally do. And so I think, you just keep challenging yourself. You keep on saying yes to the things you might normally say no to, and taking on different genres and stuff like that. Because as I said, I never wanted to be known purely as a horror director. I wanted to have a few more strings to my bow. Mm-hmm. And so when, I think when Liz presented this to me, it was like, okay, this is a really interesting challenge. And I'm not wanting to disappoint Liz and not wanting to let her down either. So,
No.
Oh, that's sweet. That's really nice. And I suppose the question for you, Liz, to start off with, what, especially running the festival for so long. And by the way, congratulations and really well done for setting up a festival and getting it going. It's so cool to set up a film festival. I remember a friend of mine said, "Hey, we should set up a film festival." I went, No, I'm all right. That sounds really hard work. That's far too hard work. Yeah. Well, how was it saying? Why did you want to set it up in the first place? What was the reason, and what's behind it?
So the reason I set it up was out of frustration as myself as a filmmaker, the trying to make films that told stories that matter, trying to tell things that, could make a difference in the world, and the complete lack of support. It's like, unless you've come from the right place, or, the right person, or, or you're the right age, or and it's like, and I was just like, whoa, okay, there's a massive, massive hole here. Like, we need to have a hub that is about actually supporting people and their creativity. And that is also about supporting people from no matter what the background is, no matter what, who you are, what experience you've got. And so it was very much about championing films that had important stories to tell, and about creating opportunities for people. So we also created the SohoLIFF spotlights, which is where we interview industry experts. But our volunteers, we get them on the set and we mentor them and teach them how to do things like, how to use the cameras, how to do the production stuff, how to edit, all those kinds of things. And they get hands-on experience, and they also get an industry recognised credit, which means that they can actually get their foot in the door. Because so often it's like people do these very expensive courses, but you don't, money is tight when you're making films. You haven't got time to teach somebody on set. So of course you're always going to take the person that's had experience. And so it was very much, the SohoLIFF was very much about creating a hub that's about supporting people and supporting filmmakers and creating a platform for the films as well. So, I mean, all our filmmakers get proper interviews in a TV studio. They get loads of support. We do loads of stuff to really champion those films. And Keep Young and Beautiful was an extension of this, because we were like, okay, we're doing these interviews.
Yeah.
If we make a film and we mentor our volunteers on a film with Neil directing.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's really cool.
And do you know what? The volunteers that we mentored on the set, they have gone on to get proper work. They're getting paid to do film work. So, very, very proud. We also had 3 disabled people on set as well.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. I love that. And just so you know, I think a film I was involved in, should I say, I edited for them, called Choked. It won the Best Experimental Film Award.
Yes.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Film. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was James and Noel. They've just made their second one now. So that's just doing the rounds now. So congratulations, because it's all about the environment. But yeah, that won Best Experimental Film. I was there. Was it 2-3 years ago? Yeah, when that was screened. So there we go.
That was under the Soho Radio, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was. So look, congratulations for setting up, because like you're saying, that is so amazing. Is there a website people can go to?
Definitely. Yeah, it's SohoLIFF.co.uk.
Cool. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. Huge congrats. What out of all those films, because you must have watched, if not all of them, if not most of them.
I watch all of them.
You watch all of them?
Yeah, and I do the programming as well.
Wow, impressive. From that, what stands out? Why do some shorts work and some don't? What is it that makes this one? And again, each festival is different, so it's very hard to say. And it could be that year you're doing a specific theme. However, what are the ones that stand out or jump out to you over that time that makes you go, that's why that worked?
So, we don't really do a specific theme. It's about the films that stand out the most. And Neil, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. The biggest mistake that you see with films is them being too long.
Yeah.
Like, so many films that you watch and you're going, oh, this is good. Yeah, this is good. And then you're kind of like, wonder what I'm going to have for supper.
Yeah, 30 minutes in, you're like,
that bird, you know, with a waggly tail. Why did you keep that really, you know, because short films are an art. You've got to have a beginning, a middle and an end.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got to, you need a twist. You need something at the end that kind of ties it all up. And even if you're making a proof of concept, you know, and it's something that you want to use to get funding for your feature film, you've still got to make it a little complete story. And, you know, I've seen so many where they start off brilliantly. And in fact, they're brilliant, but they just need to cut out loads of it. Yeah.
That's a huge learning curve for everybody involved in them, is like, get heavy with the scissors and just get in there and rip out some stuff. Because I agree with Liz. I think like under 10 minutes is the best. When you think about the best short films you've ever seen, they tend to be like short and punchy, something that just gets in, gets on with it, gets out, you know, gets the job done and away, and you remember it because it's got a great twist, or it's like looks great or whatever. But the ones that are like 20 minutes plus, like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, it's like, well, what is that? I mean, it's not a short anymore. It's suddenly like a very, I don't know, it just feels laborious.
It's a medium.
It's a medium. There you go.
It's a medium. And I always think if you've gone
mediums are like vanilla. They're like mediocre. It's like neither here nor there. It's like, just get in there and hack it to pieces and make it fast and snappy. But, you know, that's the learning process. And that's what filmmakers have to learn, is pace and, you know, getting to the point quick.
Yeah. And if you've made a short that's 30 minutes, you kind of go, wow, you could have just stayed another, 5 days and got a feature out of that. There is something in that. I'm not saying that everyone should do that, but you kind of go 30 minutes short, especially for the programmers as well. You're kind of going, well, I could have 3 or 4 short films.
Yeah, it's like, you know, look, you do sometimes get some shorts that are 35, 40 minutes, especially the European ones that are just brilliant. And you watch them, don't know that they're 40 minutes. You can watch a 10-minute one and you think it's an hour and a half. You know, it's very much like you say about the pacing.
Yes.
But to program it, it's got to be brilliant. There's got to be something in it that makes you go, oh my God, that story needs to be seen. And, you know, so it's much, much harder. Do you know the other thing as well? And I don't know if this is just because I'm an actor, but sometimes you watch a film and the production values are brilliant. They've got a great story. It looks fabulous. And the performances, you're like, you didn't cast this, did you? You just put like your mate in or something. And you think like, that's so important because the casting really matters. It really, really matters as well.
Really matters. Yeah, it does.
I mean, ultimately everything matters, because like sometimes I find it's the sound that lets them down. It's like, you know, because you spend all your money on your lovely HD digital 4K cameras and stuff like that, but if you haven't got the sound to back that up, then all the pretty pictures in the world ain't going to make it work. So
true, Neil. Very true.
Good sound recording, you know, picking up the dialogue and all that kind of stuff is really important. So I don't know. It's everything. Every film is different, and every festival is like, you know, what film you're going to like 1 minute might not be the same one you'll like the next day. You know, what order you see them in, that has a huge effect on it. If you've seen a whole bunch of like, for one of them, you know, dramatic films, and then suddenly there's a comedy in there, then maybe that comedy pops out. But if you'd seen it first, it might have got lost in the mix somewhere. It's just
chance.
Movie gods.
Yeah, movie gods.
Also, though, I have to say as well, and I put this out there for all filmmakers that are listening to this, like, films are also a really personal thing. And I say this every year when we all sit around, when all the judges come back with their forms and we have the big debate about what's going to be screened. And there will always be a film that half the people go, I hated that, it was terrible. And the other half, that's the best film I've ever seen. No, it's like, you know, so if your films get rejected from a festival, it's not that they're rubbish. It's just, it can depend what resonates, what reaches out, what speaks to you. So it's, you know, it can be a really personal thing. So, you know, it's a tough old industry, isn't it? But we've just got to keep making films and making things that we care about, you know, ultimately, and not making them to please other people, making them because it's something that we believe in.
I love that. I think that's so important that you're passionate about the film you make and you're not trying to please or trying to fit into a certain festival's brand. You're making a film because you care about this story and you care about finishing it and getting it to the right people. The rest of it is kind of what, like you say, Neil, just movie gods. You don't know how the judges are going to be.
Nobody knows anything.
Nobody knows anything, as the famous Goldman quote goes. And it's so true. Yeah. Nobody does know anything. You just don't know. You don't know. Well, Liz, look, you've made this is your third short now, is that right? Certainly.
That I've produced and
written?
Yes,
that you've produced and written. Yes. Yeah. What's changed from when you made your first short? I think it was Love and Other Stuff, and then going into Keep Young and Beautiful. For you as a filmmaker, what have you learned from that time, from making your first?
Oh my God. Wow. Love and Other Stuff, that was like my first kind of proper film that I'd made. So I'd gone out and done the whole, like, you know, like proper guerrilla style with little things making stuff and that.
Yes, yeah.
Love and Other Stuff was the first one where, right, okay, I need to do this properly. Mm-hmm. And I can remember speaking to a friend of mine who was like a producer and saying, right, I'm going to make this film and I'm going to produce it, I'm going to write it, I'm going to be in it, and da-da-da-da. And, you know, and she was like, oh, and when are you going to make it? I said, next month. And she was like, right, you might need a little bit more time. I was like, no,
it'll be fine.
No,
it's true.
You know,
I could do.
Oh my God, that was the biggest lesson. I mean, it, like, we pulled it off and we did it, and it actually went on to do quite well. But it was, you know, when I look back at it, there's so many things that one was about working with a director. I didn't understand as a producer how actually you collaborate and like really kind of get across, like, no, actually this is how I see it, and working it, because it was actually that it was shot differently to how I'd seen it in my mind's eye. And I didn't speak up because I kind of thought, oh, everyone knows more than me. You know, I'll just trot along. And so the biggest lesson for me has been that actually it's really important, the communication, and to actually work with someone who gets what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing that's really important. It was like this when I showed this to Neil, it was like he saw it how I did. It was like, and then I was like, yeah, and then the things that he was coming up, I was like, oh my God, yes. It's like, you know, it worked. So the collaboration was able to sort of evolve and grow. Mm-hmm. Rather than it being kind of, no, this is my way, no one else, you know. And I think that's where things work much, much better. And, you know, and like the ending was Neil's idea. Also, I won't give away to anyone else, but I am sure you're not surprised at that.
No,
yeah, but a little touch of Marshall in there somewhere.
Oh, Marshall magic.
He was genius. I was like, it came out and I was like, yeah, of course. Like, can't
but also, yeah, because you always want to, leave the audience with something to, really remember.
Yes. And
in terms of the collaboration, I mean,
yes.
So the way that it worked out so well is like, we discussed all this when we talked about ideas and the visuals and put the cast together and all this incredible stuff. So that when we actually got to filming it on set, Liz could just focus on acting. And that was it. She didn't have to worry about the other side of things. I think what was also fun about it was it felt like a SohoLIFF production, because it was just like everybody involved in the festival was kind of mucking in and just helping out make the film. So it felt very homegrown and in a good way, and that made it fun to do.
Yeah, that does make it fun to do. Collaboration is so important. You're so right. From the off, if you're working with people who you're not collaborating with properly, that's when the issues start. You just got to ask people, what do you think? What's your opinion? It does make a difference. But it's so interesting. You said when you first started, you were scared of that, or, didn't think you should. And it is quite interesting. People don't know that, but that's why it's good to get on set, learn more. The more you can get on set, the better you become, whether that's being a better communicator, a better human, because what set life is like, because it's very tricky. It's very hard. There's a lot going on. A lot could go wrong at any second, So yeah, communication is a really great point to make.
I mean, it's that thing of, you can theorize about stuff till the cows come home, but it's never until you actually get in there that you learn the real things that do come up. So it's all a journey, and that's what's so beautiful about shorts as well, is that you're learning, you're growing all the time, and you can tell these stories. And the thing I love about shorts as well is how, you can tell stories that are important to you. And you can tell them without someone going, nah, I'm putting the money in. You're not allowed to say that.
Mm-hmm.
No, you've got to do it this way. You've got to, like, they're your own baby and you can do what you want with them. And that's incredibly liberating and powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess because they are sort of less commercially orientated, then it does give you a lot more freedom to just put ideas out there that wouldn't necessarily make it into features, which is a good thing. It's a broader canvas to work on.
Yes, it definitely is.
Also, just have to mention, okay, we haven't discussed this. So, like, money was really tight. We did a crowdfund and we did not raise very much money.
Okay.
And we were, because of the script, the location, of course, one of the locations was very expensive. And so we were kind of like, we're going to have to shoot this all in one day. This is 19 pages.
Oh, you shot it all in one day?
We shot that all in one day. Now,
Wow.
this is where, when I say, like, no one else could have done this other than Neil.
Yeah, there you go.
He's like got there. And Neil's gone, right, okay, that's great. We've just got to get creative. And so literally the rest of it was shot in the storage part. So we had like a brilliant set designer who basically just got to work. And it was, 19 pages in one day. And of course, there was camera problems at the beginning. As there always is.
Because you don't have time to test. Yeah, on a feature, you get a camera day where you test it, and on shorts, there's the camera. Let's turn it on, see if it works.
Turn it on, it works straight away. Steady cam problems. We had exteriors and 3 interior location or interior set changes as we were doing it. So it was pretty full on day, but we cracked on, got through it. I suppose. I brought a lot of the experience that I've had working in TV and things like that to it as well. Like I like to work fast. I know how to work fast, and I know what to do to get things faster. Trying to come up with simple ways, like French reverses and stuff like that.
Yes.
So all these kind of tricks that you bring to the table when you've got a day to shoot 19 pages.
Oh my gosh!
That's like an episode of Hollyoaks.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, let's come back to that, because that is really interesting, and I think our viewers will be so interested with that. But for you, Neil, what was the difference, or what is the difference in your mind? So obviously, you said you hadn't shot a short, maybe for a long time, maybe even it was maybe before Dog Soldiers. Your last short that you directed, was it? Around there?
Yeah. Much. Well, unless you include my segment on Tales of Halloween.
Oh yes, there was that as well.
Itself, it was like three days filming.
That does count. Does count. So okay, so including that, what do you think, filmmakers and directors listening, is the difference between making a short and making a feature?
None.
Great.
You never have enough time. You never have enough money.
Exactly the right answer.
That's what you got to do, and that's the time you got to do it in. No matter what that time and whatever the parameters are, that's what you're working in. So
yeah,
I don't think there's any difference. It's just like, and you just got to. It's just a more condensed version of it, like within the space of 12 to 16, 17 hours, you've got to somehow create the same camaraderie and spirit and motivation within the crew and all that kind of stuff that you do within a feature over weeks. So it's challenge. It's a challenge, but everything's a challenge. This is the point. The whole point is like no 2 films you're ever going to do are going to be the same. No 2 scenes are ever going to be the same. You're never going to be working with the same cast, the same script, the same crew on the same thing. Again, every single thing that you do is different, a new set of challenges. So you're always learning. That's the whole point. It's like it's an apprenticeship to life, and that's why it keeps it exciting and thrilling. And it's like we're always absorbing like sponges. Like and anybody who claims they know it all is a liar. Like because every time you're facing something new.
That's such a great answer, and I love that. And for those listening out there who haven't yet made your first feature, Neil Marshall's just said it. There is no difference. When you've made your short films, there's no difference making your features. You've just got to do it over more and more days. It's the same thing. You've got to prepare, you've got to plan, you've got to get on with it and do it. And on that preparing and planning, how did you go about preparing and planning this? Did you always know it was going to be one day? Like you said, you did the crowdfunder. Were you originally doing more days?
Yeah, originally we wanted to do 2 days, a minimum of 2 days.
Okay.
I was very luxury.
Yeah, luxury.
I was like, money
Yeah.
go in and everyone will care because obviously it's about important subject matter.
Sure.
Everyone,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The problem was that I knew that we were going to get really busy with the festival in September. So it was kind of like, and also, I mean, the actresses we had, I was an incredible
So lucky. Yeah. Great.
And that was like the day that everyone could do. And it was just kind of like, so when the money wasn't coming in, it was, well, do we wait and do it after? And it's just like, no, we're not waiting. We'll make this happen. We will do this. But we did plan well, didn't we? I mean, we went and did a proper recce and like really, I mean, amazing. He just like led everyone, was kind of, I mean, I'll let you talk, sorry, because you were
you found the studio space. And looking, we looked at some pictures and was like, okay, I can see the potential here. And then went to visit the place and just walked around. It was very small. It's like literally like 3 rooms, sort of thing. Well, 2 rooms really. Okay. That we could we could do this bit here, that bit there. We'll redress this bit, with a 2-wall set. It can be that bit. This bit we'll do the hospital room in this room. And once those pieces were in place, it's like, okay. That makes sense. But like I can't remember when it was that Liz was like, how we said it was going to be 2 days? It's only going to be 1. So we're going to cut the script down? No. Okay, fine.
Did you really just go, okay, fine? I like that. I'd have done that. Okay, fine. And then gone, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it?
I have to say, that Neil was like, okay, I'm through it. Yeah, okay, we can do this. And I was kind of like, can we? We can do it in a day? Like, yeah, we can do it. And I spoke to the crew and I was like, we're going to do it in a day. And there was a lot of the crew who were like, that's not possible. It's not possible. And I was like, no, it is possible. And I spoke with absolute assurance and complete clarity. And inside I was going, is that really possible? It's just like, I absolutely...
Yeah, I was just totally bluffing. No, I mean...
That's what we do, right? We're filmmakers. Yeah, of course I can do that. Yeah.
But no, it's just like, this. If I show fear, everybody else shows fear.
Absolutely
so I have to lead from the front and say, no, it's totally doable. So I believed it was doable. I was like, and it wasn't just the fact that it was a page count. It was like that page count was a lot of dialogue. And so I knew that, we can rattle through dialogue. You can run off long takes and get and working with the actors that we had, the quality that I had, everybody was going to come and know their lines. So that wasn't going to be a problem. You set up the camera, you run through literally like the whole film in one thing, change the camera, run the whole film again, and kind of do it like that. So I honestly believed, I was like, okay, we're assuming we don't have camera problems or lighting problems or things like that, which we kind of did. We would get through it, not with ease, but it was always going to be frantic. But when isn't it?
No, and as long as you hit the ground running, right?
But I think just I guess I've got some experience, so I kind of brought that to the table, and I don't get stressed. I kind of want to enjoy the whole process, so I don't get stressed about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it was only a slight worry first thing in the morning when it was like, oh, the camera's not working. I think we lost an hour.
It was 2 hours.
It was 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, I was clock watching. I was like inside dying.
Of course you were, because you're the producer.
Assuring everyone, it's fine. Yeah, we've planned for this. We're prepared for this. Always happens.
Yeah, we knew an hour.
That thing of like when that happens on set, it's just like, okay, so what? Instead of moaning about what we can't do, what can we do? What can we? Can we get a jump on anything else? Can we pre-dress anything? Can we get the set sorted out so we could just hop later on, so we don't have to figure that out? So, it's in some respects, you're buying yourself time to plan ahead on the day. And that's the way I kind of look at it, is like, don't think of it as like downtime. If I sat on my hands for 2 hours, then we'd be in trouble. But it was like, no, what can we do to get the jump? Once that camera's working, we've got to rock and roll. So like, let's get busy and make sure everything's set up, and anything we can do just to buy ourselves time.
I love it. Did you have rehearsals at all?
Yeah, we did.
Good.
In my kitchen, my very small kitchen.
Is that the one you're in now?
No. It's a different place. But in my very small kitchen, there was me, Kate McGowan, SohoLIFF, and Eva Pope, and Neil. And we kind of like ran. Oh, and my dog. I must.
And your dog, of course.
Yeah, who's here, of course. And we just kind of went through the script, and we made a few changes. kind of run through it, but it just meant on the day, because there was no time for anybody to mess up. And I mean, it was like, I mean, there's some pretty big monologues. I mean, Eva, you know, playing Dr. Boogenberg, I mean, there's like some big bits there. And she was just a machine. She just did it all in one go. Boom.
Yeah. And that rehearsal day was priceless. I mean, you know, we ironed out a few bits and pieces in the script. And yeah, it was just like running it. And everybody was like, so, you know, off page by the time we shot it, then, you know.
Yeah, let's just turn the camera on, shoot, and a few tweaks. And, here and there.
And it, you know, and you know, this other thing for me was that it allowed me to experiment with some visual styles that I'd not used before, but always wanted to. And as soon as I read the script, and I had images popping into my head of, and my inspirations for this, I was like thinking of shots from, like Terry Gilliam was the big one.
Really? That makes sense. Totally makes sense now. Yeah, with Brazil, etc. Yeah,
very Brazil. There was images from Brazil and other stuff because Gilliam likes to use wide and 12 Monkeys as well. Gilliam likes to use wide-angle lenses and distorted lenses and have faces coming in and out, stuff like that. And I was like, I couldn't. His films conveyed the idea of it without actually seeing those shots in the film, which was kind of reassuring for me. I was like, I've seen his work and I've thought of shots are based around that concept, but I'm not just copying his shots. So I didn't want to do that. But I was like, okay, I like the idea of the wide angle lenses. They're all in their crazy makeup and stuff like that. And it's like, it's just going to be kind of weird and distorted. There's a kind of, you know, I want to make the visuals kind of ugly in its own way.
Yes, and especially in a small space as well. Sometimes using the wide-angle lens can give you, especially trying to get 2 or 3, sometimes 4 people in the same shot. It makes a big difference. What else was it that you wanted to experiment with on this? Or maybe you couldn't, or maybe that you did, that you could talk to us about that worked for you?
I think that was probably the main thing, because you know, we did the exterior stuff that was just Steadicam, done that before. When it works.
Yeah, when it works, I know.
I suppose I haven't had anybody singing in my Steadicam shots before, so that was new. And then, you know, some of the other stuff was quite conventional, but again, I really liked using the wide-angle lenses, so even like static shots of the wide-angle lenses to give our sets some distortion and all that kind of stuff. But mainly it was in the operating room. From that point on, was like, that's when I thought I can get kind of visually creative and make it cutty and, you know, create a visual style for it that I haven't done in my work before. So that was the real challenge for me and fun part for me, and was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
But I would say it wasn't a challenge to work with the actors. The actors were brilliant, so that was a breeze.
Yeah. How much fun that must have been. It makes such a difference, doesn't it? When everyone's off book, they're happy to be there and everyone's having a great time. You're like, oh, okay, great. I can experiment.
Nobody had a stop. Liz didn't go into a trailer.
If she had one. And you had Tom Laxton shooting it as well. So that really helped. 'Cause you've worked with him recently on a few things. Is that right?
He's shot some stuff that I helped make. I didn't direct him, but yeah, he shot a couple of things that I've helped make as well, other shorts. So yes, that's how I knew him. And it was like, great, he was available for this and got all the gear and stuff. Yeah.
Makes a big difference. How much prep do you do, Neil, in terms of generally on your shot lists and your thought process behind something and sending images to your DP? How much of that do you do generally? Is it a mix depending on? Is it storyboarded? It's just really interesting to know for our filmmakers out there and on this short specifically.
Oh, I'm terrible for this because I do a lot of communication with the DP, send a lot of visual references and in terms of color and framing and all that kind of stuff. I don't like to shot list. That got me into bother on some TV shows and stuff like that because they're like, what's your shot list? I'm like, I don't do shot lists. I will do the shot list on the day when I've got to the set, seen the lighting, seen the weather conditions, seen the set, all that, talked it through, seen the blocked it out with the actors, talked it through with the DP, and then we know what we're going to shoot, and then we'll make our shot list, and that's how it works for me, and that works better for me. Like, because I don't want to come with a shot list saying, well, I want the actor to stand there, Liz, you've got to stand there, and you're not going to move because this is my shot, this is the storyboard, and you can't move. And like that's just so limiting for actors.
Yes.
Like, no, we gotta work together on this. and you might want to move around the room and bounce off the walls, whatever, if that's right for the character and right for the story. And if my shot list doesn't match that, it's like, I've seen directors have meltdowns because like they don't have a plan B. They don't have that flexibility.
Yes.
And I think it's like, you can't go to the set without plan A, B, C, D, and E and all the way to Z of flexibility of like, you don't know what's going to happen on set. You might create some magic and you have to be able to work around that. You have to be able to adapt to that. Something might happen you never expected. And those happy accidents are what really brings things alive. So if you go in like two set, I think storyboards and things like that are brilliant for big visual effects sequences or stunt sequences or things that you want to get everybody locked into, stunt teams, visual effects teams, or whatever, as much for safety as anything else. But, you stick to those plans because you have to. You can't be too flexible. I mean, you can be a little bit, but, not be too flexible. But when it comes to like working with actors in a room on a scene, I want to have that flexibility to go in, work it out with them, and then plan the shots from that point on. So that's what I did with Tom, is like, we were like, this is what's going to happen. What do you think? We'll do this shot, this shot, this shot, this shot, make a quick note of it. And that's what we worked through.
I love it. I love that. And I totally agree. I do a mix, but I know on the day I don't show anyone else that shot list. It's just for me in the back of my head. So I'm aware of it. But yeah, because then people get locked into that. They go, well, you said you were going to do this. Well, I've changed my mind. The sun's beautiful, so we're shooting this way now. The DP will change your mind all the time.
You come up with a few specials, you've got the obvious shots, but then you come up with a few specials. It might be something, a Steadicam shot or just a weird angle or something like that.
Yes.
So you're like, okay, I'm definitely going to get these shots. No, I learned this on, I've learned it through, years of directing, but I remember on Black Sails, the execs were just like, oh, Neil's not a team player. He hasn't got a shot list. He's not bringing a shot list to set. What's going on? And I said, okay, look, tomorrow I'll do a shot list for you. I'll come to set with a shot list and we'll give it to everybody. And I did that. And I gave them the shot list. I said, well, this is how in, my dream world, these are the shots we're going to get.
Yeah.
So we go onto set, we block it out with the actors. Immediately that shot list makes no sense anymore because the lighting, everything, the set was a certain way. The actors were like, well, I think I'd do this and I'd like to do that. And what about this? And I go, yeah, that's great. And suddenly that shot list I just tore it up. I said, that's why I don't do a shot list. Now we're going to work on another shot list, knowing what the actors are going to do. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
I see what works. I think it's the old school way, but yeah, your way's the way for. I feel it's absolutely right. It makes total sense. Let's see what the actors do. Let's see what happens.
I learned that very harsh lesson on Dog Soldiers that I spent, because I had 6 years to prep Dog Soldiers.
Yes, you did, didn't you? Yes.
So in that time, I storyboarded the entire film. I shot listed the entire film. I showed up on day one with this Bible of plans and shot lists, everything.
Yep.
And on day two, when I'm with the cast in the house, and they're like, I want to do this. I don't want to sit there. I want to get up and walk around the table. And I'm like, you're right, of course. If everybody's just sat there, it's going to be boring as fuck. So it was like I took that whole Bible of stuff and I threw it in the trash, and I never looked at it again, and learned to work differently then. And that's the way I work now. Yeah, it works better.
Yeah, it works a lot better. I love it. And Liz, for you on Keep Young and Beautiful then, let's talk about your prep work as a producer. How did you go about organising everything? Because that's always the tricky bit. It's very difficult. And you're on your own most of the time. How did you plan? How did you prep? How should other filmmakers do that?
Oh, God. Okay, that's really hard to answer.
I know. Sorry.
It's non-stop, isn't it? It's like I mean, it was just basically every day there was something new that it was that, like, we needed this, we needed that, that's gone, this, needs to be there. I think it's really just having the vision and sticking to the vision and understanding that, things don't just go smoothly, and not to be disheartened, not to be put off, and not to give up, because there's always a way. And it's really funny how when things go wrong, how actions from that. So I'm very kind of like, I think it's really important just to keep remembering what it is that you're seeing, and that way the path kind of unfolds. But it's just picking up the phone constantly. I mean, because we didn't have money, it was just asking favor after favor after favor, and that there was this kind of sort of like thing where you're just like, And that can be quite hard. But that's I think that's making indie film, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, you have to have a thick skin and you just have to kind of go for it. But also, it is an important message. What we're talking about really matters on many levels. And so for me, I felt like, actually, we need to make this. It's really important. And it was very important to me as well to make it as a comedy, to make it something that was funny so that it reached lots of people. Because all the people that are already, you know, singing from the same hymn book, whatever the saying is, you know, they aren't the ones we need to reach. And the crowdfund was probably the toughest thing, because that's like every single day, you know, you're like putting out all those posts, you're emailing everyone, you're asking people for money, and, you know, and you're doing that all the time. And you get so many sort of like people that are like, yeah, oh, but there's no one, this, no one. And they mess around. But then you also, as well, you get such amazing people who are so genuinely like, we want to help, and that kind of pushes you on. And also the biggest thing as well to remember with crowdfunding is it isn't actually just about raising money, it's about promoting the film.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was getting so many messages from people that I wouldn't have expected, who were messaging me going, I didn't know they still test stuff on animals. It's illegal. And it was like, you know, and people that had work done who were contacting me as well, who had concerns and things. And so I was quite surprised at that. And I think it was because the fact that we were doing it in a way where it's not about shaming anyone. It's not about going, well, you know, it's about like going, hang on, there's something really wrong in society where, you know, people are feeling that the only way that they can be accepted is to do stuff to ourselves to make us look not like us, and that the byproduct of that is that there are children, like that there's like this horrendous, horrible, like child labour. You know, 5-year-olds being sent down mines so that we can have sparkly eyeshadow. You know, it's just like, what? And the animal tests. I mean, it's so wrong, and people don't want that, but it's just people don't know about it because you know. We did the whole thing, and I mean the makeup was insane.
It was. I loved it.
It was totally insane. Now, do you know what? Not a single product was tested on animals or was environmentally unfriendly. Everything was completely, you know, above board on everything. We did not compromise in any way. It's so easy to do that.
So easy.
You know, our makeup artists were amazing. The conscious artists, anyone that is looking to get makeup artists, go to conscious artists. They are no more expensive than normal makeup artists, but everything is ethical. They're the most incredible makeup artists. And they composted everything, and they planted 50 trees for the film.
Amazing.
Isn't it?
Amazing. Yeah, that is so cool.
It's amazing. Yeah, this is definitely something that came across to me, was like obviously Liz's passion for this.
Yes.
And you know, between the makeup stuff and the animal testings, the other thing that Liz and I have in common, aside from the filmmaking side, is that we're both deeply passionate about dogs. So we're both dog fanatics. So
yes,
anything to do with that, animals and such like, and just so that she conveyed her passion to me, so I couldn't help but get absorbed by it all and get involved, and you know, and try and make something, as you say, that raises awareness, but does it with a sense of visual flair and fun that will engage people who aren't yet engaged. You say you don't want to preach to the converted. You want to try and not preach to anybody, but at least open people's eyes, and you know, and having a laugh about something is one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah. Totally is. Yeah, I went on the Beagle March not too long ago, and they do the whole. They test more on Beagle than any other animal. And you kind of like, really?
Hundreds of them, thousands
every day. So it was quite a massive eye opener to hear them all outside the place where they're all kept and moved around. It's just you kind of go, really? We're still testing with AI these days?
They just closed one down. I saw they just closed one down last week or something.
Yeah, it was all the protesting we've done. It's quite incredible what's just changed, but they just moved them to another facility. That's the problem. As much as we're saying that's made a difference.
But anyway, you've got to find homes.
Yeah, you've got to find homes for them. But then if they stop breeding them, it's eventually will, you know, it'll make it better.
That's the thing. It's awareness. The way of stopping it is very simple. If people don't buy the products that are tested on animals, then it will stop, because these organizations that they don't have any humanity. The only language that they understand is money. That's the only thing. They don't care. I mean, they breed these cute little puppies and take them in, and the puppies have their entire lives like this. Like, these are not human beings you're dealing with. So the only way to stop it is to just not buy the products, because then they will stop making them, because it's pointless. And it's not very hard to read the
packet, and say vegan, ethically made on it.
Yeah, because there's a loophole where they go, oh, we don't test it on animals, and then if you Google it, if it shows up in China, they're actually testing it on animals, because the law there is that it has to
different
be on animals. So and things like L'Oreal, like they say they don't test on animals, and L'Oreal doesn't, but their company that makes the products does.
Yes.
So but it's not hard to find. It's really simple. You just quickly Google, is this ethical, is this test on animals, and it will come up very, very quickly.
Yes.
So it's just, that's all it's going to take.
And even quicker than that, Liz, there's an app which is called, I'm going to get it up now very quickly. In fact, there's actually 3. We've got Cruelty Cutter, we've got Bunny Free, and then we've got Is It Vegan? They're all AI scanners. So even quicker than Googling on the product, you can literally put the app over the top of the barcode and it go tell you what it was tested on and where it was from. It's kind of amazing, that the technology these days. And you kind of go, well,
glad to see technology being used for something good.
Something good, exactly. Which makes it. So I'm so proud that you've made this, and you're making it for a reason, and it's making a difference, and hopefully it will. And that's the point of it, right? That's why we do this. Yeah, I think every film I've made, one of my characters has been vegan, or they've been doing waste. They've been doing, no plastics in the kitchens and stuff. Just that slight little thing that might make a difference in the long run. You never know, right?
Film is so powerful. It's such a powerful way, because it's like, just seeing things put out there, you pick them up unconsciously.
You do.
So it's really important. And actually that brings me to something else, actually, going back to like the makeup and stuff, and the work that's been kind of pushed on people. One of the things as well that we have to mention is like the 3 incredible actresses, who are amazing. So there was a survey done recently, and for every 4 male actors over 45, there was only 1 female actress.
Wow.
Now, the male actors are getting lead roles. The women are getting these kind of background roles. Now, the male actors in their 60s are still playing action heroes with their 30-year-old girlfriends. This is an unconscious bias that's being put out, where it's kind of like women aren't acceptable over 45. They've lost, they don't look the same. So no wonder you've got people like Nicole Kidman and Madonna, who are genuinely talented people, that are succumbing to that pressure, because it's like, if you want to stay working, you've got to look young. And this is something which obviously, like, I've been passionate about all of this stuff. When I saw that survey and read that, I went, wow, I hadn't seen that. All the things I watch. And actually, now that I know that, when I watch everything, I go, yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yep. It's, like you're saying. And it's things like, you'll get like a 50-year-old man and his mother will be played by a 50-year-old woman.
Yep. Yeah, it happens. Yep.
Yeah. So men are allowed to age, but women aren't.
Yeah,
and this is creating this, horrible, very toxic way where women are feeling that they've got to have all these kinds of surgical things done to themselves. And, and then of course it's seeping down to very young girls, and you've got like 18, 19-year-olds injecting themselves with all kinds of God knows what. Because may I point out, it's not regulated in this country. Like anybody can inject you with whatever here.
Right.
So it's like, it's been made affordable. And it's like, God knows what it is. And I was talking to a nurse about this, and she was saying there's been this thing put out about these fillers that they disintegrate into your body. And it's not true. They're like coming up in weird lumps in all sorts of places. Now, and also Botox, there's only a certain amount of times you can have it before your face starts to collapse.
Yes.
So if you start having that at like 18, 19...
You're over. It's over by 35.
Yeah, you make it worse down the line.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just think it's really important. We need to just get back to, actually, it's about who we are. And I know that's very cliche, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually, we should be looking at about what kind of people are we? What are we putting into this world? What are we creating? What are we doing for our fellow beings? What actions are we taking? Because we're all actually responsible and we all make a difference. Like one person can sit there and say, but I can't make a difference, I'm on my own. But there's millions of us that feel
there is.
We're much more powerful than what we're allowed to think. That's the biggest thing that gets put out there, that like, oh no, you can't change things. Not true. We can.
You can. You absolutely can.
Yeah. It's back to buying the products. If we stop buying these products, they'll stop making them.
There you go. So that's the lesson. Yeah, just really try and think about ethical. And if you are making films, think about who your characters are in it, what they're portraying, etc., etc. Yeah, absolutely.
Put older women in. Older women don't.
Yeah, cast older women as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Like stories about women. There's more women in this world than men. So it's just bizarre that they're just disappearing from the screen.
Yeah, totally.
And women are interesting.
They're very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. So, that's a great tangent. I love that. So, in terms of Keep Young and Beautiful, what's the plan for it now? Obviously, you edited it with your fantastic editor as well, who came on board, which was Eric Moore. Where are you at now?
He did the sound as well.
Yes, he did the sound. He did remixing on it, didn't he? Yeah, re-recording.
Brilliant job.
Yeah, he did a very good job, actually.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Sorry, where are we now? So we've just started entering it into festivals.
Excellent, but not yours. Yeah, obviously.
So it's that. Yeah, it's that thing. We've done all the early birds, so that
Yes. Clever.
Yeah, because there's quite a difference, isn't there? It's like
there was a big price difference between the early birds. So basically, when you're making a short film or a film, you've got to think about when's it next playing, when are the festivals on next, which are the ones I want to get into. You've got to be in sort of 6 months.
And that's actually, it's a really important point, is that you have to think about that with the financing as well, because entering it in these festivals costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. And which is why doing the early birds makes sense, and having a bit of a plan. So we kind of we've got it in some kind of bigger festivals, entered it in that, see where it lands.
Mm-hmm.
And then all sort of the others, but it's lots of early birds, so it's quite a painful wait. I'm not the most patient person in the world, so it's a bit kind of like, oh, if only I was really rich and I could just put it
in all of them.
Well, that's good, because you'll forget about them and then you'll get a nice surprise down the line somewhere.
Exactly. And if you were just putting them in all of them, if you were like doing that, then you're just blanketing everything. And
you got to be selective.
You're selective and targeted, and why? And do you also, and this is a good question for you, Liz, when someone sends you an email or a letter saying why they might want to be in your festival, does it make a difference?
Yeah, that is so. I have to say that the only time where I think that makes a difference is if we're all unsure about it. So sometimes there'll be a film, and it's because it goes through quite a process with us. Like we have about 10 people watching all the films.
Mm-hmm.
And then we make the selections, and then they go to the judges. And we have a lot of people watching them because we want it to be really, really super fair. And, the ones that just get in are the ones that everybody agrees on. Everyone that goes, yeah, that should be in. But then there'll be some of those ones where, like what I was talking about earlier, where some people are going, really don't like it. Some people are going, I really like that. Or there might be something that you watch and you're kind of like, yeah, it is good. Is it good enough? And then that's where things like the letter, Wilma, what's the backstory? What's it about?
Mm.
Because if there's a good backstory to it, that definitely will make a difference. So it's I don't think it's make or break in the normal sense, but I think it's quite good to have it as a backup. And I think putting information. Sometimes you get people submitting films and they don't put anything. It's really basic, and that puts me off, because I think, oh, they're not going to market it. Because when you are putting the film in the festival, we will market it. We will do loads for it, but we also want people to do it themselves as well. We want them to post about it.
You got to help yourself a bit.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
right.
we will do as much as we can, but it's also up to you to do it too. So if you look at it and you think they can't be bothered to even fill out the thing, that can be a little bit off-putting. And and sometimes you watch something and you go, I didn't understand that. I don't know what I don't get it, because there's some things where you need a little bit of an explanation to kind of understand what it's about. There might be I don't know, I can't think of any examples, but a specific location or, where it's shot or something like that. It might be about something that happened in history, or so it changes it, because then you go, oh, okay, I understand this. Obviously, the audience have got to watch it and understand it as well. But it's as people choosing the film, those kind of things matter, because that's how we'll promote the film.
There you go.
And it's like you've got to treat it like a mini feature film. It's like you want a poster, you want a trailer, you want stills, you want everything that you would expect to get from a feature film.
Yeah.
And I know it seems strange, like, to think of a trailer for a short film, but it does work. Like, I've done a trailer for a film that was only 3 minutes long. So I mean, the film was 3 minutes long. The trailer was like 15 seconds long, but it's like, it's doable.
Yes, and
Once
important.
again, that's the marketing.
Yeah.
It's like, if people submit films, you need to have a trailer, because we as the festival can't market it otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
We always do like these lovely reels, and we have those at the awards night as well. And, that's how we really make a lot of noise about your film. So it always blows my mind when people don't do trailers. I mean, I remember one year someone had done a really nice little film, no trailer. And I said to him, could you put a trailer together? So he went, no, I've never needed one before, so I'm not going to do one. And it was like, it just seemed really like, you've gone to all this trouble to make it.
Yes.
Like that's something that helps promote it and gets it out there. It's, so, I mean, each to their own. But
yeah, each to their own. You mentioned stills there as well, and it's so important, I think, Neil, what you mentioned, just because people forget that on a short, because you can't afford a stills photographer to come down. But even if you do it on your iPhone, you just have to get stills, because it's so hard to promote your movie if you're just taking it from the film.
It is, because I mean, for social media and stuff like that, you want images. A good strong image will help enormously. Get your phone out. You've got a 4K camera on your phone now. There's no excuse. But I like to get them just to have keepsakes of the shoot, and just the people and all those things. It's a social thing as much as anything.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important. Well, listen, this has been brilliant. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us, especially about short films and how they work, how they don't, and, keep young and beautiful, and how well you've done with it. So really huge congratulations to you both. It's pretty
Thank you for having us.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Of course. Real treat. Finally, we do this a lot, and it can be the same question, but maybe some advice now for someone making their short film. Obviously, we've said so much, but it'd be really good to wrap it up in a kind of a way now. Something you'd say to someone who said, I'm about to go make my short film. Liz, we'll start with you.
Oh, gosh. I mean, just do it. Don't question it. Don't stop and start thinking about things, because if you actually stop and think about the reality, you freak out and wouldn't ever make a film ever again.
Yes.
Have your dream, have your vision, and go for it.
Yes.
And you know what? People will say no, and there will be things that happen, but it will make you stronger and make you better at what you're doing. And the tougher you have it, the better you get, the more skills you learn. And shorts are brilliant for that, because if you can ride it through on those, and you can make things on next to nothing and create something, wow, your features are going to be amazing. So just don't ever give up. Don't stop, and just follow your dreams no matter what.
That's gorgeous, Liz. Thank you. And Neil?
Well, I mean, I can't say much better than that, but what I would say is that if you've got that far and you're going to do it, that yes, absolutely keep pushing and doing it, but have fun. It's not meant to be it's hard enough work, so have fun doing it. And then it becomes rewarding, and and that fun will translate to the crew and the cast. Everything else is like, you lead, especially if you're the director or the producer or whatever, you lead from the front and you set the tone. So set a good tone.
Brilliant. What wonderful advice. Neil Marshall, Liz Farahadi, thank you so much for your time.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And if you are lucky enough to rise up and to do well, it is your duty, just as Neil and Liz have done, to send the elevator back down. We'll see you next Tuesday, as always. Take care. Go out there, make your films, make it happen. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye. Yeah. That was great.
Great stuff.